Hey, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Shanae and today we're going to bake classic angel food cake. This incredibly light and delicate cake is naturally low fat and it's our family's favorite cake and requires very basic ingredients and I'm sure you're gonna love it. So let's get started. For this cake recipe you will need sugar, egg whites, vanilla extract, flour, orange zest, and cream of tartar and a little bit salt. So first we're going to make meringue. So I divided sugar into two bowls because half of the sugar goes into the meringue and half of the sugar goes with the flour. Start mixing on a low speed and then gradually increase the speed to medium to high. So once the egg whites are slightly foamy, add your cream of tartar and salt. Cream of tartar is an acid that stabilizes the egg whites and creates a very stable meringue, which is the base of our cake that allows the cake to turn into nice and fluffy, delicate, airy texture. Now, as you can see, the bubbles are turning a little bit white, and this is an excellent time to start adding your sugar, about a tablespoon at a time. Just sprinkle it in a little bit and slowly let it incorporate into the egg whites. And now is a good time to turn the speeds to medium-high. Continue to add your sugar a little at a time. While your meringue is whisking, go ahead and zest one orange. Okay, let's check the consistency. So this is called soft peak stage when the tip is slightly downwards. Now is the perfect time to add our lemon zest. You don't want to whip your meringue into stiff peaks because we want that nice soft texture so that we can incorporate our flour mixture and it will also expand in the oven. Now, I'm gonna add lemon zest. Lemon zest is optional, but it's highly recommended. It adds such an amazing aroma to the cake. And a little bit vanilla extract. This one is homemade. It's so amazing. I also have a Reels video, very short tutorial on how to make homemade vanilla extract. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure to check it out. And then I'm gonna whip it for about half a minute or so, very quick. Perfect. Looking great. We want this nice soft texture actually because it creates the most delicate texture of the cake and rises perfectly in the oven. Oh, when we are zesting the orange, make sure not to zest the white part because that's the bitter part. Just zest at the top layer only. Now we're going to sift cake flour and sugar. Highly recommended to use store-bought cake flour, but in a pinch you can measure out 1 cup of all-purpose flour, take out 2 tablespoons of flour and replace it with cornstarch, with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. So that's a quick tip. If you don't have a cake flour makes the texture even more delicate. All-purpose flour is a little bit higher gluten content, so it creates a little denser cake. So if you want that incredible light texture, make sure to go get the cake flour. So I'm going to sift it, and it's really important to sift cake flour as well because cake flour tend to clump up easy. There you go. Now I'm going to gently fold the dry ingredients into the meringue. We don't want to deflate the meringue as much, so just be gentle. I like to run the spatula all the way down to the bottom and lift it up and then disperse the dry flour like so. The batter smells so good because of the vanilla extract and lemon zest. It's already so aromatic, it's so good. And I love the look of this beautiful batter. It's so delicate. It's like cloud. And the cake is actually feels like a cloud too. So one of you guys suggested in the comments to share different types of cake recipes after I shared my 3-ingredient sponge cake recipe, and that inspired me to share more cake recipes. There's so many types of cakes, and I'm actually really excited to dive into the cake recipes. If you have any suggestions what type of cake you want to see next, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I'm thinking maybe we should do chocolate cake maybe, right? I absolutely love chocolate cake. Now the batter is ready. I don't see any dry flour. So the only thing about angel food cake is you really need a special pan for this cake. And this is called tube pan. And if you have seen this kind of pan, this is not broken. And you definitely do need this special pan. You can't substitute it with bundt pan or anything like that. It's very not expensive. I think it's like less than $10. So make sure to get this pan. Now, you absolutely should not grease the pan because this batter will cling onto the sides of the pan and rise. And if you were to grease the pan, your batter won't cling to the pan and it won't rise and it will just collapse on you. So make sure not to grease it. And one more important step is to run a butter knife or a chopstick or stick like this and run around the batter a few times to deflate any large air bubbles in case there are some trapped in there. So now it goes into the oven, 325 degrees preheated, and bake it for about 45 to 55 minutes until you see the top is nicely browned, and we'll insert the stick, and if it comes out clean, it means ready. So I will show you when it comes out. Once the angel food cake is baked, go ahead immediately turn it upside down like so and place it on top of upside down cup like so. Balance it out nicely, and then we have to cool the cake completely for a few hours like that so that the weight of the cake doesn't collapse on its own. Here's another thing. Some cake pans comes with this little feet, and you can of course put it on a baking rack or place it like this, but I feel like it needs more air circulation, so that's why I like to place it on a cup like this. Now, I just touched this, and it's because I baked this cake yesterday to prepare for, in advance, because it, like I said, it takes a long time to cool the cake completely. It's perfect cake to bake at night, by the way, so that you can cool it overnight. That's why it's completely cooled. It smells so good, by the way, because of all the orange zest. Once the cake is completely cooled, use a very thin knife and run around the edges and then slide it around the edges like so. There you go. Now the sides are detached, and then you lift the tube up. Voila, how fun is this? And now we're gonna run it on the bottom, just the same. Insert the knife all the way in until the tip of your knife hits the middle tube, and then slide the knife along the base of the cake. The same thing here on the inside. There you go. Now let's take the cake pan and then we'll beautiful. I cut a little bit here, but no worries. Nobody will care. And then I like to generously dust it with powdered sugar. We're going to serve this angel food cake with classic toppings like whipped cream and strawberry sauce. To cut the angel food cake, use a serrated knife. It makes it so much easier to cut it. Look how perfect it is. So tall. I made homemade whipped cream, of course. I already have a quick tutorial for you for my secret ingredient whipped cream, which is amazing. Put a huge dollop on it. And I made my honey strawberry sauce, and it's really easy to make. Basically, boil some strawberries, fresh or frozen, over medium-high heat, and then add honey, and then cook it for about 5 to 10 minutes until it's nicely reduced. And if you choose to, you can blend it like I did here. or you can use it chunky if you would like as well. So I'm going to pour it over the top because makes it so good. I cannot wait to dive in. And the thing about this cake, it's not dry. As you can see, the crumbs are nice and moist. It's good. You really need to try this cake recipe. It's so worth all the trouble. It doesn't even take as much trouble, right? But look at the texture. It's, like I said, it's not dry at all. It's very delicate. It's really fluffy. And the whipped cream and strawberry sauce makes it over the top amazing. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you would like to see more cake recipes, make sure to subscribe to my channel. And I also, if you haven't checked out my 3-ingredient sponge cake recipe, I will link it right here. And I'll see you next time. Bye.